President Trump claims visitors and patrons in Washington, D.C. feel safer since he increased federal law enforcement presence in the nation's capital. Not so, says Diane Gross, the owner of Cork and Wine Bar and Market, telling ABC News she actually blames the feeling of intimidation on the Capitol streets for a drop in patrons.
It's simply not true. I mean, I think the reverse is true. Less people are going out today than they were 2 years ago.
Her bookings have gone down 34% in the last week. Enough Democrats have returned to Texas that a special session can go ahead with a Republican effort to redraw congressional boundaries. That has California ramping up an attempt to counter what Republicans do in Texas.
In retaliation for Texas moving forward with redistricting efforts, California Democrats are now advancing an effort to redraw congressional boundaries in their state. Assemblywoman Gail Pallerin.
Donald Trump lit this fire when he pressured Texas to change the rules mid-game. California is answering that attack.
In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott casting doubt on whether Governor Gavin Newsom can get it done.
It's a joke. He's posturing for the presidency and doing nothing more than that. He's all talk and no action.
Alex Stone, ABC News.
Texas says its measles outbreak is over. The last confirmed case was 42 days ago. More than 762 people got sick since late January. The outbreak spread to 37 counties. 2 unvaccinated children died of the virus. 100 people were hospitalized. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
5:05 now, and with your KVNU News update this hour, I'm Will Feelright. Well, Tremonton City officials closing their city offices earlier today. Meanwhile, the Box Elder County Fair has canceled its draft horse show that was supposed to be taking place later today. This is all as the community is coming together to respect the 2 officers who were shot and killed in the line of duty. Now, Box Elder County has said that a procession got underway at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and it is now continuing until about 5:30. The processional expected to start at Taylorsville. Then they went to I-84 up to Tremonton, and now they are going to be making their way over to the Allen Funeral Home, located at 34 East Center Street here in Logan. Now they'll be coming in on Valley View Highway and then going on to Main Street. Officials are asking the community to line the procession route and hold flags in honor of the fallen officers. Meanwhile, evacuation orders for residents near the Willard Peak fire in North Ogden were downgraded over the weekend as fire crews continuing to make progress on suppression efforts. Now, North Ogden city officials announced that the evacuation status for homes up near the fire line had been lowered to a ready status. Now, the fire has burned over 577 acres, but firefighters say they were able to keep the fire from burning any homes. Meanwhile, the Green Canyon fire burned about 5 acres yesterday, and fire crews were able to get a quick jump on that fire and prevent it from burning any homes to the west. They were also able to preserve all of the electrical lines of Rocky Mountain Power and also the water treatment plant in North Logan. In other news, Utah's economy added over 40,000 jobs over the past year, according to a new report from the Department of Workforce Services. Now, the state's non-farm payroll employment for July increased by an estimated 2.3% since July of last year, bringing the total job count now to 1.7 million. Now, Ben Crabb, chief economist with the Department of Workforce Services, said that overall job growth shows economic momentum, even as they are beginning to see some early signs of moderation in hiring.
Overall, the state's economy continues a trend of strong growth and low unemployment. However, job growth is becoming less well distributed across industrial sectors, while the level of job openings has declined and unemployment has risen marginally. Relatively high levels of economic uncertainty around federal policies may be contributing to some hesitancy among employers with respect to making investments and expenditures for expansion. Nonetheless, this month's numbers show that the state's labor market remains on solid footing.
Now, Utah's seasonally adjusted unemployment rate for July is estimated at 3.3%, which is up slightly from June's rate of 3.2%. Locally, Cache County still has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the state at 2.9%. And the Cache County Republican Party moving quickly to find a replacement for outgoing county executive David Zook. Zook announced his retirement on Friday, and one day later, the GOP's executive committee scheduled a special election that'll be held September 11th. Now, the filing period for candidates is now open and will close on September 4th. The winner will then serve the remainder of Zook's term until December of 2026. Now, while the public is invited to attend that special election, only members of the Cache County Republican Party's Central Committee, precinct officers, and county delegates will be able to cast their ballots. Zook has served as county executive since January of 2021, announced his retirement on Friday. Well, hot temperatures expected to continue through the rest of the week as we've been in the high 80s today. Tonight, we're going to drop into the mid to high 50s, then mid to low 90s for tomorrow. Same for Wednesday, as it's going to stay hot and dry through the next several days. And it's Roof Rescue that brings you our weather on the 6s, dedicated to keeping your home safe and dry from minor repairs to complete roof replacement. Remember, Roof Rescue. And I'm Will Feelright with your KVNU News headlines. Summer has been rough with insects taking over. Grasshoppers have come in like a wrecking ball, eating our gardens, bushes, and flower beds. Logan Extermination can help with a spray and bait treatment that will help eradicate those hoppers. Earwigs and wasps are also starting to make their mark, while spiders are letting us know that winter is near and they're already trying to move inside. Call Logan Extermination today to schedule your insect treatment and protect your home and property. Logan Extermination, 752-8450.
610 AM and 102.1 FM. News Talk KVNU.
Here's what some of our patients have to say about how Red River has changed their lives.
So before I started at Red River, I was having a lot of stomach pain. I was overweight, severe anxiety. I had been to multiple doctors. We had done tests and no one could find anything that was wrong. And then a friend mentioned Red River and I went and saw him, and it has changed my whole life. I'm sleeping through the night. I have energy for my kids. I've lost 30 pounds. No more stomach pains. I just feel really good.
Our goal is to focus on imbalances that are driving your condition or symptoms, not just give you Band-Aid answers. So when a patient comes to our office, we'll sit down with them extensively and go over their blood work to find out the underlying imbalances driving their symptoms.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER. With offices in Logan, South Jordan, Springville, and St. George.
Call Red River today.
For the people. People who have never been here in the studio know this, but I have this horrible habit when we have a guest in of talking to them about everything but the logistics of sitting down in a radio studio. And then as we start, I say, oh, put the headphones on, pull the microphone a couple inches from your mouth. That's how, Brett, that's how we trick people into being on air here. Okay. We just rush them into it. But no, I'm excited to do this. This has become a bit of a tradition here on the show. And it's one that we're an honor, all of us here at KVNU are honored to be a part of. But the annual event known as Ride for the Fallen is coming up. And there are, this went around quickly, but there are some changes this year due to mainly construction. But there are a lot of details that we want to make sure people know because this is an event that allows you to, in a very outdoorsy, enjoy the nice weather we're still having way, show respect and solidarity with those who have lost a loved one in service. The official name of the Ride for the Fallen is the Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen. And the website you want to visit for information on registration and more is rideforthefallen.us, and I've linked to that on our Facebook page. By the way, this is cheap, and all of the money goes to a very good cause. We'll talk more about that in a bit. But joining us here in the studio is none other than Brett Allred. And Brett, you have been involved in this from the get-go, but
yes.
And so you've seen it grow each year. I don't remember, someone told me that first year it was maybe 50 riders. It was kind of thrown together hastily, an impromptu ride. And now this is one of the most talked about annual events in all of northern Utah. And I actually know some folks who drive up from St. George, Mesquite. They drive up from the Mesquite area to be a part of this every year. That has to be at least a little bit of a swell of pride in your chest to see this grow each year and pulling people from all over the West.
It is. It's, first, Jason, thanks for having me on today.
Our
I
pleasure.
appreciate that, and for the opportunity to talk about the ride and what we hope to accomplish with it. It has reached a pinnacle, I guess, in a way. We did start out, the first year, I believe, was about 70 riders, and we figured that if we could raise just a little bit of money for scholarships, it would be great.
Sure.
But instead, we started out thinking we might get 20, 30 riders. We had 70. And every year after that, for a few years, it just kept doubling until finally, at one point, we had over 300 motorcycles riding with us.
That's amazing.
It was.
I remember being told, I don't remember if it was you or another person here in the studio telling us that as it had grown, you'd started thinking, do we need to rethink the route? Do we need to start coordinating a little more with Highway Patrol on safety? This had turned into a gigantic event.
It has.
That's very cool.
It is. It's a lot of fun. The ride typically has gone up to over the mountains to Bear Lake, where we stop at Paris, Idaho, and then we come back down Logan Canyon, back to Elk Ridge Park. The ride starts and ends at Elk Ridge Park, where we have a barbecue lunch for our riders, and basically for anybody, for the public. Anybody's invited to it. You don't need to be on a bike or anything to do that. This year, though, we've had to change the route because of the construction going on up Logan Canyon. We work extensively with the Cache County Sheriff's Department, with their deputies and their motor squad, to work on the route, make sure everything's fine and safe. This year, because of the construction, they've had some really big concerns. There have been some motorcycle accidents up there.
Unfortunately.
Yes, definitely. And so they said, how about if we change the route this year? And we worked out a route that will leave Elk Ridge, go to the west side of the valley, up and around on the north side. Then we'll go down towards Wellsville for a break. Then we go up Sardine Canyon over to Brigham City. And then back up over to the Valley View Highway. We come over the Petersboro Pass and then turn back up on the west side, cut over Benson Marina, and then over to back to Elk Ridge to finish the ride.
That is quite a loop still.
It is. It's about 100 miles. Our old traditional route's been like 130, and this is about 100 miles, so it'll be a good ride.
I don't know who this is. We don't see the name on our little group chat here, but this is someone I'm guessing that knows you, Brett.
Okay.
Someone with a message here saying, make sure he lets everyone know where the pit stops are.
Okay, yes, that's right.
This is I hadn't thought about this, but on a ride like this, there are going to be certain locations where everybody's going to want to pull off and run into the restroom.
They need that bio break, and we've learned over the years that we need to stop and do that. That's why we're stopping it. We're going to stop at the Wellsville Tabernacle. They've got adequate parking, plus they have a public restroom there, so don't worry, people will be able to take a break.
Get a break. I love that someone's concerned that that public information gets out there.
And we'll announce it, too, the day of the ride. We always have a ride brief before we take off. And we'll let everybody know where we're stopping.
That is very cool. This is, by the way, for riders or those who are considering it and haven't registered yet but plan to, rideforthefallen.us, there's a map. And I love this. Every year on this map, they include directional arrows. So you get an idea of what Brett just described, the actual route, where you drive to. And again, this loops all the way from Cache Valley down to Brigham City through the Bear River, Garland, Tremont area, up north to the Trenton area. You cover some really beautiful ground. But the goal of this, again, also is to be very visible, right? You want people to notice something's happening. And if they don't know what it is, they're going to go look it up.
Exactly. We want the whole purpose of the ride, Jason, is to create a feeling of patriotism and also to remind people of the sacrifice that our fallen military has made for our freedoms and our privileges. I'm guilty of this as anybody. It's very easy to go through the day and not even think about what you're doing and the liberty that you have to even do the simple, mundane things. Some countries, as we know, are so oppressed, packing cell phones is dangerous.
We take that for granted.
We do.
We really do.
Yes. And so we want people to remember what's gone into building this society and this freedom and liberty that we enjoy so much. And we just want people to come out and remember for just a minute is all.
This is, again, an opportunity to show solidarity and support. And of course, if you can't attend the ride for any reason, there are other ways you can support the work that they're doing, the Ride for the Fallen organization, to help them. This goes to, some of the ways that the money raised has been used for Gold Star families, for local military veterans. It's fair to say we're not coming anywhere close meeting the need, meeting the demand. Is that fair to say?
Oh, that's true. If you look at all of the families affected and the price it would take to, take care of them, it would be huge. But for right now, if we can provide scholarships for somebody, we're very happy to do that.
Sure.
We've provided up to this point, as of this year, $98,000.
Wow.
In scholarships. Each one is $1,000, so that's 98 people in the past 18 years or so that have been benefited by not just our family. We don't benefit in any way from this. It's all completely volunteer.
Sure.
After we've paid expenses, the 100% of the proceeds goes towards scholarships, and so our community really has blessed the lives of 98 people, and we are very grateful for the support.
That is so cool to hear. But again, the need is great out there, and this is something I think we all take for granted as well. So please, be a part of these events. Be a part of the Ride for the Fallen. Donate. If you can't be a part of it, make a charitable donation. Offer to volunteer time at organizing events like Ride for the Fallen. Our guest here in the studio again is Brett Allred, and he's talking to us about the Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen 2025. This is taking place this weekend, starting at 8 a.m., and we'll talk more about this on the other side of this quick break, but I should mention this as well. There is food, there's a breakfast, and not only is there a breakfast included as part of your registration, it is a breakfast presented by the Marine Corps Auxiliary League, and if you've never eaten their cooking before, you should. We'll talk about it a bit more with our guest here in the studio. Again, Brett Allred with us. Stick around.
School's back and Daryl's Appliance is rolling out epic savings. I'm Jay, and it's time to score big on back-to-school deals with top brands like Speed Queen. Plus, we just got a fresh batch of scratch and dent washers, dryers, refrigerators, dishwashers, and more ready for you to snag at unbeatable prices. Why shop Daryl's? Our best price guarantee, backed by our trusted service and delivery team, ensures you save big and stress less. Hurry, these deals won't last. Daryl's West on Airport Road, open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
At Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning, Feel the Love is more than just heating and cooling. It means giving back. 5 complete HVAC systems will be donated to a deserving person or family. Feel the love and nominate that person or family in need at mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
we live in a great area. Are you just back from a camping trip? Don't take your sleeping bags to the dry cleaner. Come to Mount Logan Laundry. For just a few quarters, our 55 or 80-pound washers and 80-pound dryers will have those bags clean for your next trip. Mount Logan Laundry has free Wi-Fi and drop-off service. Plus, they're open until midnight. Mount Logan Laundry really is the cleanest spot in town. Find them at 5th East and 9th North in Logan or in Brigham City on the corner of 1st East and 7th South. Mount Logan Laundry.
Welcome back to KVN News for the People. Here in the studio with us, Brett Allred. He's talking to us about the 2025 Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen event taking place this weekend. I'll mention this quickly. We're focusing on Ride for the Fallen here today. Last week we talked already about the fundraising dinner for the Rocky Mountain Veteran Resource Center happening Friday night, just before the Ride for the Fallen event on Saturday. That's at Riverwoods Conference Center, catered by Elements, and details on that via a link on our Facebook page. There are still tickets available for that, and every bit of that money goes to the Veteran Resource Center. This event is different. Part of the same weekend, the Heroes Tribute Weekend, but a different event. And again, it's the 2025 Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen. I've posted a link to the poster, the QR code, the website, and more on our Facebook page, but rideforthefallen.us. You'll find everything you need to know. Registration, a suggested donation of $25 per rider, $10 per passenger, and all of this goes directly to the Allred Scholarship Foundation, where they support veterans and veteran families, Gold Star families. And it is, to say it goes to a good cause is an understatement. But a bit more about the schedule here. We've talked about things starting off Saturday morning at Elk Ridge Park there in North Logan with a breakfast included with your registration, a free breakfast from the Marine Corps Auxiliary League from 8 to 9. And then 8 to 9 will also be in-person registration. If you're not able to register in advance, register in person there at the park, Elk Ridge Park, 8 to 9. And then, Brett, you mentioned this before the ride, you have a ceremony, about a half-hour, 45-minute-long ceremony honoring those who have fallen since 2001. So this focusing on what we know as the War on Terror. And if you can, without spoiling anything, what can people expect as part of that ceremony?
Actually, I don't mind mentioning, it is actually, for me, the highlight of the day.
Is it?
I love riding motorcycles, but this patriotic tribute that we have that morning we've heard a lot of people say it's the highlight of the event. We start out with an honor guard bringing in the flag. We have a rendition of our national anthem and other patriotic songs. We read the names of the fallen. We have a roll call of the fallen. We read each name, followed by a ring of a bell. And at this point, as near as we can tell, like I mentioned earlier, we hope that we're accurate, but we know we're probably off by a few. But Utah has about 100 who have fallen in the War on Terror since 2001. And so we read those 100 names, followed by the bell. And that's a very sobering moment. It touches a lot of people.
Sure.
We have a rifle salute, and then we play taps. And then after that, we'll have a ride brief telling us about the route and kind of the rules of the road, things to do. And then 10 o'clock, it's kick stands up, and we head out. And we're always accompanied, and we are so grateful to the Cache County Sheriff's Department for this. We're always accompanied by their motor squad.
Oh, nice.
By representatives. And I just want to give a big shout out to them for supporting this over the years. I know they have a lot of demands on their time, but they've always supported this, and they're going to be with us again, along with other law enforcement officers on motorcycles. We have some coming from Ogden, from what I hear. So it'll be great. We have great support. We love having these officers with us. And anyway, at 10 o'clock, we head out and enjoy the ride.
That is, and we talked a bit about that during the break. There is an affinity there between law enforcement. And, we're talking two different things, of course, law enforcement and military service, two very different worlds. But the understanding between the two what it means for someone to give their life in service is the same for those two groups. So I'm glad that law enforcement is there to support and to keep the riders safe.
Yes.
I've seen some of these Utah drivers. I'm one of them. But this is an amazing thing. And again, to see it grow every single year is really inspiring. For listeners, again, this all gets underway with a free breakfast and a registration period, 8 to 9 a.m. Saturday morning at Elkridge Park. That is, by the way, 1190 East, 2500 North there in North Logan. You really can't miss it. But Elkridge Park, there's a registration. You'll see the booths and tables and things like that. Free breakfast, memorial ceremony starting at 9:30, and then when that wraps, everyone mounts up and they begin the ride, and then they will return to the park. Roughly, the goal is returning around 2 in the afternoon. Right, that's the goal. This is an amazing thing, and it gets talked about all throughout northern Utah, and people come from all over. I know a listener here saying they have an uncle who is a veteran who actually comes in from Rock Springs to be a part of this. So I know a lot of people come from all over the West to be a part of this. And again, it's gotten bigger and bigger each year. Again, it's the 2025 Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen, starting at 8 a.m. with registration and a free breakfast at Elkridge Park in North Logan. And that is an honor to be able to spotlight it here on the show. And Brett, I have to say this to you as well, you and the entire Allred family. When a family is affected by an event the way your family has been, if you just disappeared, no one would judge. No one would say a word. If you just went and dealt with your grief and moved on with your life quietly. So it is inspiring to see you and your family and everyone that's been involved in this over the years just grow this into a bigger and bigger thing. And as you said, supporting Gold Star families with these scholarships, I don't think it could be overstated how meaningful this must be to the recipients, because, again, as we've discussed, that I don't think we've ever effectively met the demand of need in our veteran communities out there, whether it be federal dollars, state dollars, nonprofits, and volunteer dollars. We've never done enough, and so I'm glad to see these things happening.
And it's good to be a part of it. We're really humbled. Probably the reason. Well, let me back up and just say that we've known some of the other families of the fallen in Utah, and some of them have wanted to just be, very private about their grief and their mourning.
Understandable.
Our family, I have to admit, we were tempted to do that. My wife's mother was a very wise lady. Said, you got to realize that your son Michael doesn't belong to just you. He belongs to everybody now. And he said, it will be good for you to go out and talk to people. And so we did. And the community came out and just supported this and lifted us up.
Sure.
And it was overwhelming. And we were filled with so much gratitude. We realized that we just couldn't let it go at that. We wanted to give back in some way to pay forward. And we thought Michael loved motorcycles. Sure. A ride to Bear Lake for a raspberry shake was one of his favorite things with his friends, and so
good judgment.
Yes, and so we decided to put together a motorcycle ride, and the community has just built it up like you can't imagine, far greater than we expected, and it's been a wonderful cause. I wanted to mention too about the scholarships.
Sure.
Over the years, it's not reaching out just to military, but we have reached out to everybody. The scholarships are available for anyone.
Really?
We have blessed and benefited people from other countries. There was a family, they came as refugees from Somalia years ago.
Really?
And their daughter received a scholarship.
Oh, very
We've
nice.
had people from Venezuela, Mexico. We've had single mothers, and then young students, and then people who have served in the military as well.
Sure.
Veterans. So really, the scholarships go out to anybody.
That's amazing.
And so we wanted it to, freedom is available for anybody. We wanted the scholarships to be the same.
I like that. That is And again, this can be a scholarship like this, the entire difference for a young person between completing their education and not. And we know that, right? We know these scholarships matter that way. So again, to see you and your family and the community around you turn this into, and what a way to honor Michael and memorialize his name by having it attached to this annual event that gets bigger and bigger each year. I predict that eventually this is going to get so big, the Highway Patrol is going to have to say, you have to let us help plan the route.
Could be.
That's a goal. So let's set that as a goal, that you get a call from a Highway Patrol sergeant one day saying, you got to let us sit down in the planning meetings. It's gotten too big. Because that means you're there. You've hit it.
That's right. As long as they let us go through Bear Lake.
Yeah, that one will always be open. Just not this year.
That's right.
Smart decision on that route change. I was just through there this weekend, and not a safe place for people on motorcycles right now. Not because of the construction, because of the other drivers.
No.
That's
right.
Again, a route change this year, but still a lengthy route, and everything gets underway at Elk Ridge Park this Saturday, 8 a.m., part of kind of a two-day event, Heroes Tribute Weekend here in Cache Valley, with the Rocky Mountain Veteran Resource Center fundraiser at Riverwoods Conference Center Friday night, and then 8 a.m. Saturday morning, the Ride for the Fallen gets underway with a free breakfast and a registration. And again, it is the Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen 2025 this Saturday. And our guest again has been Brett Allred. And Brett, appreciate taking some time for us. And just without even asking, plan on next year. We'll do it again.
If I could make a point real quick.
Please do.
You mentioned a two-day event, but on Sunday evening, we also have a patriotic devotional.
I always forget that.
Yeah, Sunday. That's okay.
Is that Elk Ridge as well?
Elk Ridge Park as well, yes. And I believe it starts at 7 o'clock. And we invite people to come out to that. There's, once again, a patriotic tribute. We have a guest speaker, a Brandy Vega, who heads up a suicide prevention program.
Okay.
And she's a retired veteran as well. So it would be worth your while to come out and listen to her and listen to her speak and present her message. And once again, to help contribute and carry on this feeling of freedom and patriotism.
Absolutely. And anything you can do to support the local veterans community, please do it. Whether it's the devotional Sunday night that Brett just mentioned, Ride for the Fallen, helping with the Resource Center with your time and money. And I should mention this as well one more time. If you can't participate in the actual ride this year, via rideforthefallen.us, reach out to all of the organizers there at the Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen organization and find a way that you can donate time or money. They would appreciate it, I'm sure. But the most fun way is to get out and be a part of this ride. Saturday morning, again, kicking off at 8 a.m. with registration and a free breakfast at Elk Ridge Park. And as Brett mentioned, this Heroes Tribute Weekend doesn't wrap up until Sunday evening, actually, with that devotional at Elk Ridge Park. And I've posted all the information you need on our Facebook page, but a simple Google search will get you there as well for any of these events. And Brett, again, thank you. It's been an honor to have you in the studio.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Jason.
Oh, our pleasure. And to our listeners, honored to have you with us as well. Stick around. More to come after this look at the local headlines with KVNU's We'll Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. A 44-year-old Smithfield man was arrested after striking a pedestrian in a Logan parking lot while allegedly driving under the influence, according to law enforcement. Chad Huron-Sanders was arrested on Saturday night. Now, according to an affidavit of probable cause, Logan City police officers arrived at the scene after receiving reports of an auto pedestrian crash and transported the victim to the hospital. Now, that victim was later flown to a trauma center where medical staff said she is in critical condition. Now, Logan police identified the driver as Saunders and then let him leave the scene without conducting field sobriety tests. However, later, officers called him and he agreed for a blood draw. An officer immediately detected the heavy odor of alcohol on his breath. The officer wrote in the probable cause statement that Saunders spontaneously admitted to drinking heavily within the last 24 hours. He has now been booked on suspicion of negligently operating a vehicle to cause serious bodily injury. And a mission president for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was shot during an attempted robbery that happened at the mission home in Mexico City on Saturday. R. Tyler Wallace, a 56-year-old, was shot around 2 a.m., according to a church spokesperson, Sam Penrod, over the weekend. Now, Wallace is in stable condition at a Mexico City medical center and is responding well to treatment as an under observation, according to Penrod. Penrod said the church is cooperating with local authorities as they investigate the incident. Meanwhile, all missionaries are safe. And a follow-up, that UTV that authorities had been searching for in Box Elder County belonging to Michael Stephen Comstock, well, that was found earlier this month. The Box Elder County Sheriff's Office announcing that the UTV was found August 5th by hunters in a remote area west of the Silver Island Mountains where it had become stuck. Now, authorities cautioned the public about the deceptive nature of the lake bed in the area, noting that it is seemingly dry and its solid surface is often just a thin crust of salt that can give way, causing vehicles to become hopelessly stuck in the underlying mud. Now, the Sheriff's Office expressed gratitude to the public for providing information that assisted them in that search. And a follow-up on the story we've been following since last night. The suspect in that fatal shooting that happened over in Tremonton that killed 2 officers, well, it's been identified through Weber County jail roster details. Ryan Michael Bate, a 33-year-old, was arrested on 2 counts of aggravated murder, 1 count of attempted aggravated murder, and 1 count of assault. He was booked into jail early this morning. Now, at around 9 o'clock last night, the Box Elder Communication Center received several 911 hang-up calls from an address near 700 North and 200 East. Now, when officers arrived at the scene, they encountered Bate, who was armed with a high-powered rifle. Bate opened fire at 2 officers, fatally wounding both. A Box Elder County Sheriff's deputy responding to the call for backup was also shot while inside his vehicle. Bullets also penetrated the deputy's canine. Now, both are recovering. Well, weather-wise, going to continue to see hot temperatures through the rest of the week, and it's going to remain dry up until Friday when we could see a chance of some isolated thunderstorms, as daytime temperatures are going to stay right around the mid to low 90s, with overnight temperatures staying right around the mid-50s. And Triton Medical Supply and Transportation brings you our news and weather here at the bottom of the hour, offering top-quality medical soft goods like incontinence supplies and oxygen needs. It's Triton Medical Supply and Transportation. And I'm Will Theorite with your KVNU News headlines.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Stephanie Officer. Step 2 of President Trump's plan to end the war in Ukraine took place today, with the war-torn country's president sitting alongside a delegation of Europe's leaders in the Oval Office, this time in a much more welcoming environment. It comes just days after President Trump met with President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. We're told Mr. Trump reached out to Putin again today after his talks with President Zelensky to arrange a meeting.
The president posting on social media that he called President Putin to begin arrangements for a meeting. He says the first meeting that would take place would be between Putin and Zelensky, and that would be followed by another meeting that the president would then join. Still a lot of questions on when and where these meetings would take place, and of course whether these 2 leaders, Zelensky and Putin, can make an agreement for lasting peace.
That is ABC's Rachel Scott. Outside the White House, no statements were made after the meetings. This is ABC News.
This is Jordan with Primrose Home Care and Hospice. When it comes to home care, it's important for you to know you do have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of home care services, remember Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient, not the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Call for a free home safety evaluation, 787-1369, and visit primrosecare.com. Primrose Home Care and Hospice. We're your home team.
Today's hearing aid technology can improve not only your life, but the lives of the people who care about you. Once again, you'll be able to hear the reason for their laughter and understand conversations. Dr. Paul Danes will customize a hearing improvement program to meet your unique requirements, whatever they are. Call Dr. Danes for an appointment at 753-HERE and let him show you how.
Bring back what you've been missing. Bring back Cache Valley Hearing and Audiology.
Prices have been reduced again during Anderson's Seed and Garden Cash and Carry sale. They've marked down all remaining trees, shrubs, evergreens, and perennials to 40% off. But if you pay with cash, you save an additional 10% off your purchase price during their annual Fall Cash and Carry sale. That's 50% off a wide selection of top-notch plants in stock. Get them now before they're gone, but hurry while the selection is the best. Anderson's Seed and Garden, 69 West Center, Logan. Grow something amazing. Cash in on beauty today.
Friday Night Lights are back, and so is the best high school sports coverage in northern Utah. From Ridgeline to Bear River, Green Canyon to Logan, Skyview to Mountain Crest, Cache Valley Media Group brings fans full play-by-play action on the radio and video all season long. It's going to be an unforgettable year, and your business can be a part of the excitement. Put your brand front and center with thousands of loyal local sports fans. Contact Cache Valley Media Group today. Get your business in the game.
Insuring your business can be frustrating. If you are confused about coverages, your rates are increasing, or you can't get a hold of your agent, it's time for a change. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance. We do return your calls because we work for you. We believe that protecting your business should be affordable and hassle-free. As an independent agency, we have access to multiple carriers like Auto Owners Insurance and will give you options. Call us today, 435-752-0101.
Stand in the place where you live, how things go. Think about direction, wonder why you haven't been.
Welcome back
Stand
to
in
the
the
news
place.
for the people. Thanks again to Brett Allred for stopping by, and more information on Saturday's Ride for the Fallen again at rideforthefallen.us. This is a really good cause. Every bit of the money they raise from this ride on Saturday goes to the Scholarship Foundation for Gold Star families and others. And again, this is the 2025 Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen. Lance Corporal Michael J. Allred Ride for the Fallen. That's this Saturday, starting at 8 a.m. at Elkridge Park. If you can't ride, you can still go make a donation and support them in various ways. And as Brett mentioned, this is part of a 3-day Heroes Tribute Weekend, which begins Friday night with the Riverwoods Conference Center fundraiser for the Rocky Mountain Veteran Resource Center. Then on Saturday, as we've just discussed, starting at 8 a.m. with registration and a free breakfast at Elkridge Park in North Logan, the Ride for the Fallen event gets underway. And then Sunday, roughly between 6 and 7 at Elkridge Park, as things start to cool down, they do their annual devotional ceremony as well. This is a non-denominational devotional ceremony recognizing and honoring those who have given their lives in military service again. So that's all taking place over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend, and a lot of great causes to support. Thanks to Brett for stopping by to talk about the Ride for the Fallen. It's always an honor to have him in. And please support them if you can. They're doing pretty important work. And these scholarships mean the world to children of veteran families, Gold Star families, and others. But as Brett mentioned, they've also helped recent refugee families here in Cache Valley with scholarships. And it can really mean the difference between a kid finishing school or not, finishing college or not. So please get out and support them through the Ride for the Fallen event this weekend, or any way you can if you can't be there for the ride. So on Friday's show, we had a chance to speak with Congressman Blake Moore. And that being a Friday, and as many listeners have let me know all day long today via emails and more, a lot of people were kind of getting in a 3-day weekend, skipping work, if you will, to take advantage of the last weekend with the kids at home for the summer before school starts this week. And so we had a lot of requests for, basically some recap of what we discussed. Now, you can always hear every episode of For the People via the podcast at any time, but I just wanted to get to a couple of highlights from our conversation with Congressman Blake Moore on Friday. So an opportunity for those who missed it for you to hear basically what he had to say about everything from the redistricting tit-for-tat happening between red and blue states nationwide to his disappointment with how little movement has been made on deficit reduction efforts, even as Republicans gained the majority. So here is a revisit of our conversation Friday afternoon with Congressman Blake Moore.
Cutting teeth is a good way to put it, and had just been involved I wrote a paper on this in grad school, to be honest with you, just to get the real bare bones information. I wrote a paper on this in grad school, and I think I made a statement that the fact that as a nation we've sort of always done it politically and that both sides do it is just not a good enough excuse, and I kind of struggle with it. But this is particular, this is just mid-decade. And the norm is every 10 years after a census, unless there's like a specific court order that's going on, there's a court order associated with this one, but it's driven politically, that type of stuff. If we get into a point where we're changing districts every 2 years and we're reshuffling and, say a state gets a majority one way or the other, and then they change up all the districts. This is a 10-year norm. And by changing that, I just have major concerns. I don't even think it's actually good for Republicans long term. It might be get more seats for Republicans in Texas right now, but California, Illinois, they gerrymander horribly if they have the ability to do so. And you see it in Illinois. Massachusetts has 9-0. There's 9 Democrats in a state that has often had Republican governors. So this could backfire on Republicans pretty bad if we get into this mid-decade constant reshuffle, and I just don't like where it's going.
I appreciate you saying that, and yeah, it's just you kind of want everyone just to get back to work, and with that in mind, I have to say this as well because this is something I appreciated also about your predecessor in District 1, Congressional District 1 here in Utah. Former Congressman Rob Bishop had a history of this as well, but a lot of what you're working on doesn't make the top of the hour segments on CNN or the front page of the New York Times. But just going through a list of recent bills you've introduced or recent bills you've joined with other lawmakers in the House, Republicans and Democrats alike, there's some pretty meaty stuff here, from housing to public transit. You've got working with several representatives on a bill that's focused on U.S. Air Force depot maintenance. This is nuts and bolts. What Washington's supposed to be about, right?
Yeah, we've always kind of had that play. The bills that I introduce always will have a chance to become law. I don't do a lot of messaging bills. I don't feel like I'm valuing my constituents' time and the taxpayer dollars that go to legislative affairs if it's just a messaging bill that has no chance of ever becoming law. You're forced to vote on stuff like that. Sure. But the things I introduce are pretty productive. But and then there's a moment where like we just had with the with the reconciliation bill, the one big beautiful bill. I actually named it the Mega Act, Make Economy Great Again. I thought that it had a better ring to it, but apparently I was shot down by the speaker. He and I are going to get over this. I'm going to forgive him. We're going to get over this, but I did have a better name. Anyway. And that is what we did there. That was the majority of the work. And I was on the 2 committees that managed most of it, from budget to Ways and Means. And Ways and Means did the entire tax policy. And we were able to do a significant thing that has really not been done, and that is made pro-growth tax policy permanent, right? And the things that we've experienced over the last 8 years, that we've had good data, that we've had good outcomes that have actually raised revenue. When you make taxes competitive, you can raise revenue because you have more activity in the economy, and we don't lose revenue because of that. It's not a deficit creator, even though that's what critics will say. But when you lower taxes and make it competitive, you can actually gain more revenue. So we've had and we were able to make a lot of it permanent. So yeah, there's individual bills that we do, housing related. I still care a lot about the Medal of Honor and anything related to Great Salt Lake. Our team will be involved with, but we want getting tax policy to be permanent is a significant advantage for small and large companies, individuals, families, to be able to know what their tax code is going to be like for the next foreseeable time period, and it's really exciting to have been a part of that.
And you put a lot of work in on this. Unfortunately, we have to say behind the scenes because that's the current media environment. And I'm sure you run into this when you meet with constituents here on Break this August in person. But sometimes I think when we speak with listeners here on the show, we hear a lot of responses to the big headlines, and everyone gets the impression that out there in D.C. it's just everyone's throwing food at each other and, fist fights on the House floor. That's kind of the impression that's painted. But can you talk a little bit about the process of, as this bill, this big, beautiful bill is making its way through, it's generating a lot of headlines, a lot of controversy, but there are members like you who are working on child tax credit amendments. You're working on ways to just alter certain tax provisions in the bill. Can you talk about that process a little bit? That as I understand is different than the headlines we often see.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was quite a process, and it's been not just the last 6 months when we've had the opportunity, but we knew this would be a partisan bill. And in 2017, it was White House, and Senate Republicans. Then it was expiring at the end of this year, and we needed to get it done. So it has been quite a process, but it's been more like a year and a half process that we've been going back. And I've been heavily involved. I only dozed off for like 3 or 4 minutes of the entire process, to be honest with you.
Which is way better than I would have done.
That was so funny. It was like 4 in the morning, and I dozed off. I was making fun of the other guys in the back break room because they were all just zonked out. It started like 2, 3 in the morning. I was making fun of them. I even texted like one of them in a group text making fun of them for sleeping, and then of course karma got me because they got me on camera. It was a fascinating experience to see it all come together, but there's an individual side of it, and there's a business side of tax policy. And we let out on the child tax credit because famously, on Ways and Means, whenever there's a provision talk about younger states, we have the youngest state in the nation by a factor of like 2 years. We're on average about 2 years younger than the rest of the nation. One of our biggest issues in our country is that we're getting a little bit top heavy, is we don't have enough younger workers, people in the workforce participation rate supporting those in the retirement class. And we need to make sure we're supporting that younger generation. And one way is by the child tax credit. And we were able to enhance that. So not only did Republicans double it in 2017, we made sure that never went back to the original percentage or the original number in this bill, and enhanced it a few $100s, put it on an indexing for inflation too. So it's not going to just stay stagnant. It will tick up over time. So this can be a really, really strong relief to working families.
That, again, is just a bit from our conversation that many said they missed Friday due to a lot of you playing hooky from work, apparently. A lot of our listeners took a 3-day weekend since the kids go back to school this week. They wanted to get one last family trip in, and we had a lot of requests to re-air that. So there's a portion of it. I haven't aired the entire thing. We spoke for about 30 minutes on Friday with Congressman Blake Moore, but you can hear the entire interview via our podcast. Whichever podcast app you use, simply search for KVNU's For the People. You'll find us that way. But you can also listen to them live on the KVNU website, kvnutalk.com. So a couple different ways you can hear that entire interview from Friday afternoon, first part of the show on Friday before the movie show. So appreciate the interest, though, and it was a fun conversation. We covered a lot of ground with Congressman Moore, so please, if you didn't get to hear the entire thing on Friday, take a second to do so. And we'll be back right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
Summer is here and the adventure is on. Hit the road, trails, or water with confidence because Discount Tire and Automotive's 49th anniversary sale is going strong. Save big on RV, ATV, and boat trailer tires just in time for all your summer fun. Get a free 4-wheel alignment with any 4-tire purchase, a $129.99 value. That's right, absolutely free. Discount Tire and Automotive has the lowest tire prices guaranteed. There's no reason to shop anywhere else, in-store or online. Tight on cash? We've got flexible options, 12 months, no interest, layaway, and no credit check financing. But don't wait, summer's flying by, and so are these savings. Book online now at webtires.net or cruise into Discount Tire and Automotive, where the deals and the service are always in season, with 3 convenient locations in Logan, Providence, and Smithfield.
Discount Tire.
So much more than a tire store.
Mountain Valley Heating and Air Conditioning wants to help Cache Valley feel the love. Mountain Valley Heating and Air is giving away 5 fully installed heating and air conditioning units free of charge. Go to mountainvalleyhvac.com and help make a difference one home at a time. That's mtnvalleyhvac.com. Nominate prior to September 1st, 2025. See website for all details.
Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU.
My name is Bruce Lee. I'm here with my co-host Sid Roeder. We're here for another fun show.
This radio show is sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and efforts to provide information that is hopefully useful to seniors, their family members, caretakers, and really anybody who's interested.
Senior Moments, every Saturday morning at 7:30 right here on News Talk KVNU.
So we have folks lining up already out here on 2nd North, right in front of the station, and on up to Main Street for this procession coming through. We've had a lot of listeners ask again, and I'm sorry I can't say for sure when they will be through, but I know that this is all planned to start at 5:30 in Tremonton, where they would head down Main Street in Tremonton, and then north on 3rd East to the Rudd Funeral Home, where Sergeant Lee Sorensen, one of the officers who was killed last night in this tragic situation in Tremonton, would be received. And then from there, the procession would move along Valley View Highway, Highway 30, into Cache Valley, and into Logan, headed for the Allen Funeral Home on Center Street, 34 East Center Street. When that's going to happen, I don't know. Like I say, it started at 5:30 in Tremonton, and then they were headed to the Rudd Funeral Home to where Sergeant Lee Sorensen was received, and then making their way here, and they will head up 200 North to Main Street, make a right on Main Street, and then a left again to Allen's Funeral Home on 34 East Center Street. They're asking that everyone come out, show solidarity and respect for these fallen officers, and bring your flags and blue ribbons if you have them. On the sidewalks and grass strips, or park strips, of course, not in the street. Keep it safe. But folks are already lining out here in front of the station. When they come through, I wish I could tell you, but they will be through soon. I would guess around 6:30 at the earliest.